It looks like we are live now, and he said Gary's going to be a little bit late, but the rest of everybody's here. So let's get started. So first off, we got a copy of the agenda, number of public hearings to do tonight by Zoom. It should be interesting, but likely uneventful. Any changes to the agenda? If not, motion to accept as presented. Thank you, Councillor Busk. Call the question. Those in favor? I see hands. Councillor Gramlich says yes. Councillor Gramlich says yes. Councillor Gramlich says yes. I think he's frozen. We'll keep moving. That's carried, sorry. So first off, we've got 3 public hearings tonight. And so all in relation to the same report, but different maps and plans that have to be amended. So I'll start by making sure I got this in the right order here.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
What's up?
I need to step out to declare a conflict for these 3.
Okay, so noted. If you just turn off your audio, that's probably good enough for us, Councillor Brandel.
Okay. Not sure how I do that.
Right there, just like that. Okay, so we'll start with bylaw 25/2020. So I declare that this public hearing, sorry, just one sec. Councillor Gramlich is sending a message that he got kicked out of Zoom. So maybe we'll give him a sec here to try and log back in so he hears all this. Sending him a message. Chris, I'm sure that you were probably listening to this. Can he get back in once we started live?
He should be able to.
Okay. Just give him a second. He says he's trying to get back in again. The joys of technology. Okay, he's still trying to get in, but we'll start with the public hearing. Okay, so I declare that this public hearing is open and held, and state this hearing is held pursuant to sections 230, 606, and 692 of the MGA 2000 amended. The purpose of bylaw number 25/2020 is to amend the municipal land use map of the municipal development plan by redesignating lot 3A, block 31, plan 012211117, 105 6th Ave Southeast, and lot 3, block 31, plan 6474 NY, 109 6th Ave Southeast from regional commercial to downtown. The notice of this hearing was given in writing to the applicant, the assessed landowner, and adjoining landowners, as well as the planning and development officer. It was advertised on our town's website from November 18th to December 1st. Presentations are to be brief and to the point. The order of the hearing and presentations will start with planning and development, followed by those in favor of the bylaw, then those opposed to the bylaw, and lastly, anyone deemed to be affected who wishes to be heard. So with that, we'll start with our planning and development officer, Ms. Grinick.
Okay, yeah, your worship and members of council. Purpose of this report is for council to hold the required public hearing and consider second and third reading for bylaw number 25/2020. The applicants and landowners are L. Lyle Rooker Professional Corporation and 1283447 Alberta Limited. The subject lands are lot 3A, block 31, plan 0122117, and lot 3, block 31, plan 6474 NY. So the proposal is to redesignate the subject lands from regional commercial to downtown. The subject site is within the regional commercial designation in the municipal development plan, within the C2 secondary commercial designation of the downtown and Main Street area plan, and maintains a C2 secondary commercial zoning in the land use bylaw. The MPC reviewed this application at its November 2nd meeting and have indicated that they support bylaw number 25/2020. The bylaw was advertised and letters were sent to adjacent property owners. To date, no verbal or written comments have been received with respect to this bylaw. 3 plan amendments are required to facilitate the application, and such amendments to the municipal development plan, the downtown and Main Street area plan, and the land use bylaw are being processed concurrently. The applicants have indicated that they would like to be able to entice more of the uses that currently exist in the C1 district to their sites. They maintain that they are part of the downtown area and that this zoning change will increase the opportunities for them to lease space in their buildings. The planning department has compared the subject application with good planning principles. So we've looked at public safety, compatibility, infrastructure, and environment. We feel that changing the designation of the subject lands from regional commercial to downtown meets with good planning principles discussed above, and as such, this amendment should have no negative impacts on surrounding developments. Further, this amendment appears to better align with council's vision. And that's all I have to report at this point.
Okay, any questions from council? Going once, going twice. Okay, at this point, I ask anyone in favor of the bylaw to come forward and speak. Anyone in favor? So I'm guessing, Lyle, you're going to unmute your audio and your video.
Yep, I'm here, Tyler. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lori said it all. I think we put it very succinctly in our applications. And yeah, I just, when I built the property, then mayor, was Jerry Allery, and he was all in favor, considered us downtown, whatever else. And for some other reason, and I know that I was sick and whatnot, and I didn't want to be sick, but I was during the time that it was changed, and it is what it is. And I don't remember getting any of the notice of change or anything else. In any case, I just think that it allows us to do what our building was designed for. And I think under the C2 zoning, they do mention offices, but they don't mention anything like the C1 zoning says, and it refers to financial services. And I think if you look at the core of my business and the businesses that I have some of the business that I have in the building, they're definitely financial services. And I think that the C1 zoning is proper for us.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Rooker? From council? Going once, going twice. Okay, thanks. I'll let you mute yourself again. At this point, I'm assuming we have no one opposed to the bylaw that wants to come forward and speak. Nobody opposed. Confirming from administration, there's no one else there in the council chambers.
That's correct. There's no one here.
Anyone deemed to be affected who wishes to be heard? As I see and hear none, I will declare this public hearing closed. Next, along the same property, we've got public hearing for bylaw number 26, 2020. So I will declare this public hearing open and state that this hearing is held pursuant to sections 230, 606, and 692 of the MGA 2000 as amended. The purpose of bylaw 26, 2020 is to amend the existing zoning with precincts map of the downtown and Main Street area plan by redesignating lot 3A, block 31, plan 0122117, which is 105 6th Ave Southeast, and lot 3, block 31, plan 6474 NY, 109 6th Ave Southeast from C2 secondary commercial to C1 central commercial. Once again, the notice of this hearing is given in writing to the applicant, assistant landowners, and adjoining landowners, as well as planning and development. It was advertised on town website November 18th to December 1st. Order of the presentations will be the same. Planning and development followed by those in favor, those opposed, and anyone deemed wishes to be heard. Ms. Skrinick, do you have anything new to add?
Nope. Same information, and the MPC did support this application as well.
Questions from council? Councillor McGregor.
So I have a question for Lyle. I could have asked it before. I'll just ask it now. Lyle, do all of your businesses that have been in there up until now and including now still fit within the regional commercial?
Central commercial?
Yeah, this is the next one. Sorry, I was just worried about the first one.
Are you talking the C2 zoning?
Yeah, does everything that you have in there right now meet in C2?
No, because I don't, because I'm a financial services. And Dominion Lending is financial services, and I have a hairdresser in there as well.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. Rooker, we're now at those in favor of the bylaw. Anything to add?
No, I'm good, Tyler.
Okay. Anybody opposed? Anybody new and opposed? Anybody deemed to be affected? As I see and hear none, I will declare that public hearing closed. We'll move on to the last one for bylaw 27/2020. Once again, this public hearing I declaring open is held pursuant to sections 230, 606, and 692 of the MGA 2000 as amended. The purpose of this bylaw number 27/2020 is to amend the land use district map land use bylaw number 22/2007 by redistricting Lot 3A, Block 31, Plan 0122117, which is 105 6th Ave Southeast, and Lot 3, Block 31, Plan 6474 NY, which is 109 6th Ave Southeast, from C2 to C1. Feels like I'm saying the same thing. Oh, okay. Downtown commercial mixed use district. Sorry. The notice of this hearing was given to the applicant, assessed landowners, and adjoining landowners, as well as planning and development. It was advertised November 18th to December 1st. Order of presentation is the same. Planning and development, followed by those in favor, those opposed, and any person deemed wishes to be heard. Ms. Skrinick, anything new?
Nothing other than, again, the MPC supported this application as well.
Council, questions? I see none. Mr. Rooker, anything new to add?
No, Tyler, I'm good.
Okay. Anybody opposed or deemed to be affected that wishes to be heard that is new to the room?
No.
As I see none, I will declare this public hearing closed and make two comments. Lyle, for your own benefit, later in the public hearings are all about information gathering, but later in the meeting, we'll actually make a decision on this coming up here in a little while. But I did just want to pass on ahead of time to administration. Council has been very appreciative of the fact that we are looking to work with our landowners and with our business community, and regardless of how this application turns out, we like seeing flexibility and willingness to work with the businesses. So I think it's a great start in the direction that we're headed. So let's Lyle, you're more than welcome to stay on for longer if you want. If not, you can follow up with us tomorrow or even watch us later live, but we'll carry on with the rest of our meeting. So first off, we got minutes of our council meeting held on November 10th on page 3 in our package. Any issues? If not, motion to accept as presented. Thank you, Councillor Buss. Call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. Next, we've got in page 11 of our package, the minutes from November 17th. Any issues? Any concerns? If not, motion to accept as presented. Councillor Ferguson, any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. Thanks, guys. So with that, we'll jump right into CAO update. Mr. Kim.
Good evening, Your Worship and the members of council. My CAO update as of November 17 starts with the health and safety. So one employee is currently in isolation due to a close contact with an individual with COVID-19. The total of 4 business licenses were canceled for the month of November, while 5 new licenses were issued during the same time period. The province approved the municipal stimulus program for the town of Slave Lake in the amount of $790,000 to help recover from the economic challenges. One notable project supported from this program is the downtown revitalization project for the amount of $400,000. Our operations department is seeking those residents interested in voluntary snow removal for the cul-de-sacs and back alleys. Please see the town's website for more information. The department also assisted Slave Lake Native Friendship Center with unloading and placing refrigerator units. The town issued 5 development permits and 2 compliance letters in the past 2 weeks. Our fire department received a total 10 calls, including 4 motor vehicle collisions. The department has also been issuing 16 occupancy load certificates for a number of businesses and institutions to certify maximum allowed occupants under the current COVID restriction. Our project management staff conducted several engineering reviews, including the access road out of CJ Schroeder School onto Caribou Trail, a sewer service connection from Southwest Industrial Lots, the raw water line agreement with MD, and the Sawridge Creek flood study. Our economic development staff has engaged in discussions with several stakeholders, including 3 geothermal companies and Travel Alberta. Also, the staff participated in group meetings to discuss better internet service in the town, shortage of Class 1 drivers, geothermal opportunities, improving tourism and town beautification, town accessibility, and installing electric vehicle charging stations. From our bylaw enforcement side, the peace officers responded to a total 18 calls in the past 2 weeks, bringing the total call volume to 578 for the year to date. The town staff attended the Homeless Coalition meeting last week regarding the COVID-19 practice. Significant changes occurred with new provincial requirements that came into place on November 27th. We are communicating this to our tenants and user groups at all facilities in the short-term operation. With this, it concludes my presentation, Your Worship, and the members of council.
Okay, questions from council? Councillor Busk.
So just a quick one. I just wanted to say a quick thank you to Slip and everybody that helped put in that ice this year. It's getting lots of use. Hopefully that's something that the public can make use of this year without too much
Close contact.
Right. So great job with them, and it looks good again.
Thank you.
Councillor Ferguson.
So I noticed that there's the ECDev department contacted 3 geothermal companies regarding geothermal. So about 1.5 years ago, we had a presentation from a geothermal company. So I don't know if the economic development department has reached out to that company, but if they haven't, it might be worthwhile digging up some of that stuff and connecting with them. So just a note, anyways.
Thank you. We'll do that.
Okay, any other questions from council? Comments? As I see none, we'll jump into the rest of our meeting. Thank you, Mr. Kim. So first report is from Gary. Is Gary on yet, or is he still? Yeah, I see him coming. He's running. Okay.
I'm here.
In our package.
So good evening. I'm here to present to you a report around, make a recommendation around awarding a tender for the government center roof retrofit project. On August 12th, that should be 2020, council passed a motion to proceed with the project. Since that time, our consultant Pinchin Limited has completed design and issued a tender. There was one minor adjustment to the tender itself to allow us to have a better opportunities for better warranty to the proposed solution. Tenders closed on November 6, 2020, with 12 tenders received. By the way, our consultant tells us that 12 tenders being received at this point in time was almost unheard of in the roofing industry. They don't generally have that much interest, but for whatever reason, there was lots in this particular project. Prices range from $210,000 approximately to $408,000. Pinchin then did assist us with best value assessment based upon a standard assessment used in the roofing industry. As administration, we summarized the scoring or the ranking, giving the highest scoring proponent a rank of number 1, the second highest scoring proponent a rank of number 2, and so on. Those are identified in your written report. Now, the lowest price tender received a score of, that put them into essentially fourth position in terms of ranking. The lowest price scoring had some fair bit of missing information around the health and safety components. And so that is a concern for administration. The second highest score ranked $32,000 less than the number one score. And so that is our recommendation to proceed with the second highest or second best ranked proponent, only because when you actually look at the actual points, there's not actually that much differentiation between the first and second in terms of ranking, but it's worth $32,000 savings by the vote going to the second score. So overall, the total budget, and this is what has been proposed in the 2021 capital budget, is a contractor cost would be $225,000 with a 5% contingency and some consulting fees on top of that, making the overall project valued at $256,000. Our recommendation is to award the tender subject to the approval of the 2021 capital budget. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions from council? Sounds like it's pretty straightforward there, Gary. Any motions? Councilor Brandel.
I move that the council award the government center roof retrofit project tender to Western Weather Protector Limited in the amount of $225,003 to be funded from MSI or alternative grant funding, subject to approval of this project in the 2021 capital budget.
Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. Thanks, Gary. Okay, Lori, page 21 in our package, starting with bylaw 25/2020. Anything new to report?
The planning department has no concerns with this application and is recommending council give the bylaw a second and third reading.
Okay, let's get this party started. Councilor Busk.
Make a motion that bylaw 25/2020 to amend the municipal land use plan map of the municipal development plan by redesignating lot 3A, block 31, plan 0122117, and lot 3, block 31, plan 6474 NY from regional commercial to downtown receive second reading.
Yeah, Joanna, just make a note that Councilor Brandel is abstaining here and not involved.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go for it.
Just a quick question for Lori. Financial services, is that a discretionary use under C2?
I don't have the bylaw in front of me. Unfortunately, I can't answer that for you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, it's not in here. Any list of them. Obviously, though, that the applicant has reviewed that, and obviously it must fit.
That's
Right?
my understanding, yes.
Okay. Any further discussion or questions? Call the question. Those in favor? Those opposed? That is carried. Okay, moving into the next one. On page 31 of our package.
Aren't we doing the next reading?
You need third reading.
Sorry, I need two readings. Yes, my fault. Sorry. Backing up to page 23. So, Councillor Ferguson.
That bylaw number 25/2020 to amend the municipal land use plan map of the municipal development plan by redesignating lot 3, block 31, plan 0122117, and lot 3, block 31, plan 6474 NY from regional commercial to downtown receives third reading.
Okay, any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Those opposed? That is carried. Moving into the next one. So sorry, now on page 33 in our package. Laura, anything new to add?
The planning department again has no concerns and is recommending second and third reading for bylaw number 26/2020.
Okay. Motion, Councillor Busk. Jaren, you're muted.
That bylaw 26/2020 to amend the existing zoning within precincts map of the downtown and Main Street area plan by redesignating Lot 3A, Block 31, Plan 012-2117, and Lot 3, Block 31, Plan 6474, NY from C2 secondary commercial to C1 central commercial, receive second reading.
Any further discussion? So I'm curious because I'm in favor of it because I think that this benefits working with our business community. I think there's options there, whatever else. But as I always like to hear other perspectives. So for those that aren't in favor of this, I am curious to know what I'm missing. Is there anything, or Councillor King?
I explained my reasonings at our previous MPC meeting, and I'm not a fan of spot zoning, especially if we have a master plan of doing the full downtown. So my vision is to, instead of changing all these plans individually, just change the one as we go and incorporate it into that.
Okay.
I just think it's work administration doesn't have to do right now with our plans coming in the future.
Okay.
Politics.
Okay. Okay. Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Those opposed? That's carried. Next bylaw.
Third reading again.
Yeah, I know. Councillor Ferguson.
Bylaw number 26/2020 to amend the existing zoning within precincts map of the downtown and Main Street area plan by redesignating Lot 3, Block 31, Plan 012-2117, and Lot 3, Block 31, Plan 6474, and Y from C2 secondary commercial to C1 central commercial, receives third reading.
Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Those opposed? That is carried. Okay, flipping here now to page 31 in our package, which is, 41 in our package, which is now bylaw 27. Sorry, Lori, anything new to add?
Again, the planning department has no concerns and is recommending second and third reading for bylaw number 27/2020.
Okay. Council, any questions, comments, motions? Councillor Busk.
That bylaw 27/2020 to amend the land use district map of the land use bylaw 22/2007 by redistricting Lot 3A, Block 31, Plan 012-2117, and Lot 3, Block 31, Plan 6474 NY from C2 secondary commercial district to C1 downtown commercial mixed use district, receives second reading.
Any discussion? Those in favor? Those opposed? That is carried. Lastly, Councillor Ferguson.
I'm presuming, Lori, there's a bit of a typo. There's some wording missing.
Yep, it should. I apologize. I didn't see that till just now.
Okay,
So,
just wanted to make sure here. So
yep.
that bylaw number 27/2020 to amend the land use district map of the land use bylaw number 22/2007 by redistricting Lot 3A, Block 31, Plan 012-2117, and Lot 3, Block 31, Plan 6474 NY from C2 secondary commercial district to C1 downtown commercial mixed use district, receives third reading.
Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? That is, those opposed? That is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Okay, we'll jump into Leah's report on page 51 in our package, service agreement with Insight.
Good evening, Council. The purpose of the report is to inform Council that the town of Slave Lake has entered into an agreement with Insight to provide consulting services in support of economic development from November 2020 through to the end of February 2021. Background, the town of Slave Lake embarked on an RFP process to secure a consultant for economic development work for the town. Through that process, Progress Unlimited Inc. was awarded the contract with a start date of July 2020. Council approved an expense budget of $270,000 for economic development for the 2020 year, which included consulting services. Progress Unlimited Inc. retracted their bid in July. Engagement took place with two firms, which included Insight and MDB Insight. After assessing each quote using the best value assessment, and the 4 criteria that was used was their expertise, the price, the time frame, and their location to Slave Lake, a decision was made to award the contract to Insight. This outcome is consistent with the original selection process outcome that ranked Insight second to Progress Unlimited Inc. Resource impacts. Insight will execute deliverables on an expedited timeline for a very reasonable cost. In total, the economic development work will be completed by the end of February, which is 16 weeks for $50,000. By comparison, the previous consultant was scheduled for completion date of December 31st, 2021, a total of 78 weeks for $120,000. Additionally, Insight will assist with the business activity survey as part of the scope of work, which will reduce the reduction in the projected survey cost for 2021. Finally, securing a consultant satisfies the conditions of the CARES grant funding, which has already been received by the town. Policy implications, there's none. Council has approved the 2020 economic development expenditure budget of $270,000, which includes $150,000 for consulting services. So as per that approved budget, as well as the purchasing policy agreement with a spending limit authority of the CEO of $80,000, the Insight service agreement is within policy. Regarding communications, information is provided to council via this report. Insight progress updates will be provided to council on a monthly basis via the economic development section of the CAO report to council. Strategic alignment, this work supports council's strategic priority of economic development for the town of Slave Lake. The resulting action plan will identify business opportunities and drive business growth in the Slave Lake region. So the recommendation to council is that council accepts this report as information.
Hey, questions from council? I got a few. So Lee, at the end of this, we're going to have some sector profiles that are going to be created, and you have them listed in here on page. Where do I see it? It's further in here. It's on page 66 of our package. So at one point, I was wondering, it seems like a minor one, but I always feel like, forestry and oil and gas getting lumped together. Sometimes one gets overshadowed by the other. And so I wonder if it's possible to separate them into two rather than into one.
Okay, absolutely. And just as information, the sectors that we're going to be looking into are tourism, forestry, oil, gas, retail, manufacturing, and we've just recently added health and social services.
Excellent. Yeah, and some education component in there would be nice too. College plays a huge role in our economy and how that works, and maybe they could go with some of the health stuff that's going on. I know that they're really ramping up some of the health programming that they are doing, so there's probably an opportunity to work those in tandem. So at the end of this, we're going to have some sector profiles, but they're also going to help define a plan there that talks about some strengths and weaknesses, talks about some branding opportunities, and that sort of stuff. So I'm just trying, is it going to be a targeted list of strengths and weaknesses, or is it very generic and there's still, we got to hire somebody else to come in and do another study and tell us, targeted things in those strengths and weaknesses? Like, I'm wondering if we're getting like this general overarching document or something tangible that we can actually run with.
We've been very specific with Insight that we want an action plan and strategic priorities based on information. Okay. So if you look at the rollout, the timeline, we're going to be engaged in discovery meetings with internal staff as well as external stakeholders, of which Northern Lakes College will be one of them that will be invited to the table. Okay. There will be a lot of activity around surveys and data gathering and taking a deep dive into the microeconomy of Slave Lake. From there, strategic priorities will present themselves through a SWOT analysis, but what we're also trying to find is what differentiates Slave Lake from other communities that are doing the same exercise. And then from that, an action plan with the specific tasks to support those strategic priorities.
Okay, that sounds great. So the other thing was so you got Discovery Meeting 1 and Discovery 2. There's a 2-hour and a 3-hour facilitated session here. Is there any point that this company is going to interact with council? Get some of their feedback.
If that is the desire of council, we can absolutely make that happen.
I would love that opportunity.
It will happen.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's all I had. Councillor Ferguson, sorry.
So I've been hearing a bit around, that we might be a transportation hub or a logistics hub. Just wondering, are they going to be doing any work or studying in that regard or reporting back on that?
Yeah, they're going to be part of the business activity survey is actually looking at commodity flow as well. So that will be a part of the business activity survey, but we've also mentioned that we are doing a transportation survey early spring that should address that.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments from council? If not, motion to accept this report as information. Thank you, Councillor Gramlich. Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? That is carried. Perfect. Can't wait to see this roll out, Leah. Okay, moving right along here in great time here, Mayor's Corner. Thanks for the Zoom meeting tonight there. I appreciate it very much. Getting my test tomorrow. Obviously, last few days, everything's been about COVID. Last couple of weeks have been crazy busy, engaging in some meetings with our neighbors and other stakeholders, which have been, I think, productive so far. We have some more meetings set up to come up, but have to figure out how we put some of those on hold or do some of those virtual with all the COVID numbers. And so obviously the COVID numbers have been the discussion of the last number of days. We're seeing now, last week we're beginning of the week, I was talking about having 10 cases and we finally jumped into double digits. And as of today, we're 31, I think we're at right now. So, a lot of the messaging continues to be the same, social distance, wash hands, and a lot of the stuff seems to be coming from people connecting and social gatherings. And so I encourage people again to limit your interaction. It's time to kind of stem that flow down. This is going to have impacts on our schools. It's going to have impacts on our businesses. It's going to have impacts on our economy and our healthcare system. So, it's a time, Slave Lake, to be cautious. It also has renewed a spark. I've got a lot of feedback, as I'm sure other members of council have, about masks. And so council behind the scenes has had a number of conversations about masks and has been united in our decision making that, there's a team of experts hired to look after the safety of Albertans, the people that are paid to work in this day in and day out and are putting in the time and effort to analyze all the different pieces and make decisions that way. We have followed the province's recommendations throughout this entire pandemic that we find ourselves in. And so picking off little pieces and deciding to do them differently than what that group recommends hasn't really seemed like an appropriate thing for us to do. We've also said, though, that was something that the only reason we would ever look to do anything differently is if our region was in any different piece or circumstance than the rest of the province. And I guess, the big question of the day is how do we actually determine that? And so I think I'll reach out to our local AHS to kind of get some feeling on where they feel our numbers are different from the rest of the province, because we have to have some kind of metric to do that, to say, because is that number, is that 25, is it 50, is it 100, is it 200, is it 300? I have no idea. But if it's something that we're going to consider, and I feel like that's the will of council, it's something to consider at that point when our numbers get to X. I guess we have to kind of define what X is. Thoughts on that from council, if we should do that any differently? Like if we're looking for the advice of health, I think we should reach out to Health Forward, or how do you guys want to look at that? Stunned silence. Councillor Busk.
Well, I think you nailed it on the head when you said that we've been following the province up till now. I always think that if it's large numbers, and by large number I mean when it gets between, if we have a 75 to 100 open cases, I would say that we've jumped dramatically, and I would be worth considering then. I said right now, it was going to go up. It's went up throughout the entire province. That's when I would consider it.
Other comments? I guess my only fear was that, I get that council's either like, we're never doing mass, or we're going to do it if numbers go to X. And the only issue is that everybody's number is different. So is it just a number that we debate, or is it a number do we get some feedback on? And we are approaching a time for a conversation about that. I know other municipalities have gone with a bylaw where, because the other problem is that you run into Christmas. If we see numbers going up crazy, do we have special meetings to organize all this? Or is it something you put in a bylaw where you say, hey, when we get to X, then this becomes something that we're going to do? And just how do you, looking for feedback from council on how do you want to look at that or analyze that? Councillor Brandel.
I don't know. We've always just followed the province's lead on every other disaster or emergency that we've ever been in. So I don't know, I kind of tend to trust their experts and follow their lead, I guess.
Councillor McGregor.
So we just had some changes brought to us by the provincial government here last week. I would say I've already said that they're going to check things in 2 weeks and let us know some more and check on it. So I feel really confident in following what the province has been doing. If they put a blanket out for the province of Alberta, then we will follow suit. I feel that we've done well in this community, and community has done well so far doing this. So I don't think that we need to change anything drastic. I think we just need to wait, as the powers above will help guide us through that.
Okay, other comments? As I see none. So the leaning one is to follow whatever the province is and not have a number set for us. Is that correct?
That's correct for me.
Okay, I see the majority of council saying yes, let's go in that direction. Okay, so I think we'll stick to that for right now. That has been the general feeling of council, is that let's stick with what the province recommends. And if they're not recommending it, why would we recommend anything differently? And at some point when our comfort level goes outside with the numbers that we're seeing in our own community, we can revisit that discussion at that point. If necessary. Other than that, there's nothing more concerning at this moment than the COVID numbers and the increase that are going. Hopefully these things start to flatten out. I know there's lots of testing going on behind the scenes. We're seeing things in schools and in businesses, lots of people getting those messages about close contact, and hoping that over the next week or so we start to see some of those numbers flatten out. Other than that, I have nothing else. So with that, I ask for a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Councillor Busk. Any discussion?